What's going on, guys? MedicOnDuty is my name, and today the gameplay I believe I have for you is a 16 and 6 gameplay of Rush from Battlefield 3 on the map Wake Island. It's a pretty decent gameplay. We do eventually lose in the end, although I'm not sure we're going to get to the end in this video. I'm probably going to have to cut that off so it'll fit my commentary and actually make sense. But this was a pretty good game. Starts off with a pretty nice run with the chopper gunner. It's actually the recording. I actually started recording like midway through the chopper gunner because I actually got like 4 dudes in the run, because my pilot actually knew what he was doing, which is more than I do when I fly a helicopter, which I don't know what I'm doing at all. Pretty much and when it comes to helicopters in this game, I'm pretty much best as the gunner. Do not give me the stick. In other words, I won't know what to do with it. So, anyway, it's a pretty decent game with the SCAR-L. And I want to talk to you guys today about something that's going on in our nation's capital right now. Yeah, we know that there's a lot of stuff going on with politics right now. A Republican race is going underway, but that's not what I'm going to talk about because I honestly hate all of the Republican candidates with the exception of maybe Ron Paul because he is the only one who makes sense. But this is actually something a lot less minor, that at least in the effects it's had on the real world, but in terms of the internet world, it's been taken very, very seriously. And what I'm referring to is SOPA, or the Stop Online Piracy Act, which is currently under debate in the House of Representatives in our Congress. Now, what SOPA would intentionally tend to do is it obviously stands for the Stop Online Piracy Act. What the initial premise of the bill is, it was initially designed to stop websites that either could upload private, copyrighted or content protected under intellectual property, or that had content that was intellectual property already on there. So this would essentially outlaw a lot of the websites that we come to know and trust, because frankly, let's just talk about it. How many really major websites that could potentially have copyrighted material on them? I mean, this one, YouTube, is one. A lot of the torrent sites that I know of would also be one, but honestly, this bill isn't going to even come close to stopping torrents, because torrents, they go the world over. And thankfully, our jurisdiction does not extend to the rest of the world, which I am very, very happy about. But what the original version of this bill would have done is, if it had passed, which it thankfully hasn't, it's still under debate, and I don't think it will pass, but it would have essentially allowed the government to use something called DNS blocking, which, if you don't know what that is, that's a really fancy term. That essentially means that the government can go and directly block the URL to a website. So they could block. This is essentially what the government in China does. It's what the government in Iran does. It essentially allows the government to very quickly block off access to websites that they don't want their people having access to, like YouTube or Google or Facebook or Twitter, because those are all websites that could upload copyrighted material. And thankfully, that a few days ago was tossed out of the bill. So thankfully, Congress actually got some sense on that and voted that out. But sorry, but it's really been a big issue today because a lot of websites have done various little protest things to protest it, and these were really just any methods of just like showing defiance to SOPA. I mean, Google had like a black censor thing over the logo today. Stuff like no, they didn't go down. The English version of Wikipedia went down, but ironically the mobile version didn't, so you can still access that. Reddit, I know, closed down. There were quite a few other sites that just shut down in protest of the act, and actually there's a petition that I will link in the description of this video that goes to a Google page thing where they're starting a petition to get lawmakers to vote against SOPA. And honestly, I encourage you guys to go sign it if you want the internet to remain free, because what this is going to do is, if it passes, there are 2 bills in the pipeline right now. First is SOPA, and then there's like one called PIPA, which is of a similar vein, but it is not as intrusive. But if SOPA passes, it's not like what they were considering earlier this year, where you'd like go to jail if you uploaded copywritten content a certain amount of times. But what this will do is it'll essentially give the government a stranglehold on the internet, which is not something that I want, because, and many other people don't want this, because the internet is free space. It's free. It's public domain. You know that it's not, the government has no right to regulate what goes on the internet, because, and frankly, this is not just as me just taking the first, if you will, as saying that SOPA violates free speech, but think of what this will do to gameplay commentary. Because just think about it. This gameplay that I'm using right now, Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 is copyrighted. Battlefield 3 is intellectual property. Call of Duty is intellectual property. World of Warcraft, all the others. Pretty much every game, actually every game that has been uploaded as a version of gameplay commentary is intellectual property. Just think about that. I mean, if this bill passes, there's not going to be any more of this. I mean, Machinima itself is probably just going to get... under the original bill, Machinima itself probably would have gotten shuttered almost instantly because of all the copyrighted material it has. But maybe that would have been different because Machinima has contracts with people that let them use their stuff. But like, think about someone like me. I have no agreement. I have no contract with EA that says that I can use their product on YouTube. I have no agreement with that. A lot of the other people who post Battlefield 3 gameplay and they don't have a partnership with YouTube do not have a contract with EA that lets them, that says that, okay, EA has let me post content on YouTube. Very many people don't have that. So if this bill were to pass, every one of them, myself included, could be found liable and potentially prosecuted. Maybe not potentially prosecuted, but we could be found guilty of, in this case, a felony, because it's natural law, under SOPA. So I'm not saying that this will happen, but it is very, very possible. And it's just like stuff like what we're doing now would not be allowed. And what would potentially happen is that EA and Activision could just like turn a blind eye to this, because because gameplay commentary actually for a while has been illegal. The only reason that we can post what we post is because the developers and the publishers let us post it, because they see no problem with it. And I can actually think that maybe it won't be so bad, because, you know, Activision would probably very much fight to keep this gameplay commentary community alive, because of simply everything that it's done over the past few years for Call of Duty. Now, one thing that actually I forgot one thing. That's really all I have to say about SOPA. I think it's a dumb idea. I think it should be canned as soon. It should not even reach President Obama's desk. It should be struck down in the House before it essentially can do any harm to the internet, to do any harm to free speech over the internet, that kind of thing. So anyway, guys, that's just all I really have to say on it. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Do you think this is a dumb idea? Do you think that something finally needs to be done about privacy? Or do you think that SOPA even could do anything to stop, you know, the torrents, various pirate sites, that kind of thing? So anyway, guys, apart from that, if you're new to my channel and you want to see more content when I get around to uploading it, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.